Hello and welcome to the MGPX special. I'm Sheepdog and with me is Pab, because Kevin and Anna are on holiday. Say hello, Pab.
Hello.
Wow. We're going to do this is like a pre-clip here just to say hello before our MGPX special, just to let you know in advance. Obviously, MGPX was a live event, so rather than renting out the massive studio we rent for every week, we don't have the live band playing the jingle. We don't have all of the work that goes into cleaning our vocal cords beforehand and whatnot. We're just raw, live and on stage. There's an audience there who ask questions and butt in, but Dean's done a cracking job picking up their questions and everything. So I'd like to think if you close your eyes and sat in a field or in a big empty room, you could just pretend that you were sat in the audience with them. As you'll hear, there were thousands of people there. It was a glorious event.
And if you were there, you can relive it all.
Yeah, I imagine people who were there are going to listen to this back at least weekly
and hear themselves chuckling away and chiming in, because people do. It's a live show.
I'm a little bit worried. Some of them might be using it for insurance purposes because their sides split and stuff like that. They might be claiming the old medical insurance as evidence. We might get a few notes in the post now demanding money from us.
Thinking ahead, we're not explicit in this episode, but I can't guarantee that nothing was said from the audience.
I don't think anyone
did. I don't think anyone did. But I'm putting it out there now that I cannot guarantee this is strictly safe, is what I'm saying to you now. That's all I'm saying. That's
I'm
all I'm
99% sure it is.
I think we're good.
In this, though, you get our, what is it? It was Game of the
Generation. We did Game of the Generation at the live event, and we did a Q&A. There are two. You'll get two separate. Dean has recorded and edited everything together himself. He's done a great job, and his son Dan. They've edited. They've cleaned the audio up and whatever. Done what they can with it. And like I said, there's a full like the live panel, and then there's a Q&A after as well.
I think there's jingles in between.
He's done everything. Bless him. He got all the jingles himself and did all the intros and outros, and he's done a great job. And yeah, thank you very much.
I feel like we're missing a trick here, Pab. We could have put the Q&A out as next week's episode and had 2 weeks off.
We can't because I've got multiple embargoes that I've been waiting on I've been waiting on, and I can't put them up another week. So yeah,
actual reviews next week. Then wow, we're spoiling these people.
I know.
Well,
it's insane.
Let's wrap up then. Hope you enjoy the MGPX. This is what you could have won if you'd come, and hopefully we'll see you all there next year.
And welcome to MGPX 2019. I'm Kev, and with me this year they're in the wrong order. We have Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Dean, and everyone else who reluctantly joined in. This is going out as a podcast as well, so I'm going to have to ask you to pretend there's more people here than there really are. So if we can have a proper cheer, a proper round of applause, that's more like it. You, Bouncy, you can leave. You didn't clap at all.
Partial advisor, I'm not a fan.
MGPX is back in Peterborough for the first time in 4 years.
It's been that long?
4 years since we were here, 3 years since we were in Nottingham, a year since we were at EGX and nobody came. And now we're back here. We must have missed a year when I was checking the MGPX calendar. Just show of hands, who came to the last one that was here? Bouncy, you came. Put your hand up. 3 people. So Bouncy and the 2 people who do the sound and video for us. Wow, an entirely new audience.
Who's coming back next time?
Yeah,
don't get
Is it a good or a bad sign that we've done a 100% audience churn in 4 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
Last time we were here, Pab was sat back there, won a PlayStation, and ended up hosting the show as well.
It bodes well for you lot.
So there is a PlayStation in the raffle, so whoever wins that, just be aware it does come with strings attached. and you might end up being part of the show the next time we're here, probably in 4 years' time. Right, MGPX 19. We have a PowerPoint presentation prepared because you haven't seen this, have you? These two have.
I think you just did your previously part before we started.
Yeah, well, just to recap what we've done before, that was the first time, I think, we did the best game of all time.
Yeah.
I had to look back through iTunes to find these and work out what we did. And so we did the best game of all time, we did the best game of the generation, but it was last generation, so that was just at the end of Xbox 360 and all that stuff. We did that. We did the best franchise in entertainment, back when we were trying to not be a gaming podcast because we didn't play games. That was the last one we did here, and Batman won, if I remember rightly. We then did the one in Nottingham, which I can't find any evidence that it was about anything. So there was that one.
Was it? I remember. There is a
Save Our
party
Sheep,
tonight,
though.
so...
That was afterwards. It was Save Our Sheepdog, wasn't it? We had to convince Sheepdog.
because I said gaming was...
Yeah, we had to convince Sheepdog games were any good. I remember now. And then the one at EGX that none of you came to, which was great. That was the best one we ever did. Yeah, Anna was in the audience for that one. Yes! Simon did. It was great, wasn't it? It was better than this. Much better than this.
Stop, baby.
We had a sizable group of people there.
But none of them knew who we were.
No, that's true. They were all EGX people, but it was good.
They've not asked us back this year, but it was good.
They have. I just didn't tell you. Do you want to go?
Yes!
All right, I'll send them an email.
Oh, my word. Right, so this year, building off the back of all that, we're doing the best game of this generation, because this generation is nearly at an end. We've got... Are you sad about it? This is... When you see the nominations, this generation's been a bit... Do you not think? Just in general. Some of the games that have made it onto this thing, I don't know if that's a more reflection of the fact that we don't play games anymore.
I play games.
Are we just going to try and destroy that?
Well,
We'll get to that.
The amount of games I tried to get through they were released at the end of last and were kind of popular when this, and he's like, no, they were released sort of January the year of the last generation. So, yeah, there was a good 10 games that would have easily won.
It's because it's been the generation of re-releases and remasters, and none of them are allowed. In fact, we have the rules right here, because you've got to have rules if you're doing a competition. So, this is what we based it on, and if you follow us on Twitter, which you should, because we tweet on that, like...
All the time.
before MGPX, and then on the day... Has anyone tweeted on that today?
I use it to find Pokemon that I don't have, and no one ever responds, so...
But we did explain this on Twitter, and I copied it and pasted it here. So, we're allowing any game, on any format, released for the first time since the PlayStation 4 came out on the 15th of November 2013, and then the Xbox One came out a week later, and it was the greatest
PlayStation was it?
Well,
Xbox
according to
first.
Wikipedia, I mean, these might be American dates, I don't know.
Right.
Which one came first, Xbox One or PS4?
Yeah, Xbox.
Okay. We're in the UK. Everyone write that down. Bouncy.
Xbox One, then PS4 shortly after.
Yeah.
Well,
It was
shut
1
up.
week, I think.
Xbox One came out while Blockbusters was still a thing, and PS4 came out after it was made redundant by Blockbusters.
Yeah, I bought a PS4 off the back of Blockbusters Going Bust.
So you've got a stolen PS4?
No, I just profited massively off of their demise.
Shop, and he bought one from my new shop because he, liked to help me out.
That doesn't sound true.
No, I imagine it was just the cheapest
It was
one.
something more-
That'll be it.
Well, it worked your wife with it just to prove it wasn't some weird dodgy deal. Because you swapped it in the car.
That was a PS3. I bought a PS3 off you in a car park. Yeah.
I apologise to anyone listening to the podcast who can't hear Bouncy.
Yeah, sorry.
Just insert normal Bouncy nonsense here. You know what he's saying. It's Bouncy things. So, re-releases, remasters, all that stuff doesn't count. So, that means no Grand Theft Auto 5, no Last of Us, no Bioshock Infinite, no most of Sheepdog's shortlist.
Hey, no, that's not true.
So, we each put together our top 10 games of the generation, which for some of us was harder than others. For me, I could remember 11 games that I'd played in the last 6 years. So it was difficult for me to knock one of them out.
Which one did you knock out?
one that someone else nominated, which we'll get to in a minute. So I got all 11 of mine in. I imagine for you it was a similar difficult process, but for these two you probably had loads.
I actually ended up with a lot more, but I discounted any I didn't complete, which is a lot.
Yeah, how did you get to 10?
I discounted any that I'd only played an hour of, but probably...
Seriously, how did you get to 10?
And was left with about 12. And then
there we go. And you two probably spent hours agonising.
I put mine together in like 10 minutes.
Maybe. I guess most of you will, at least half yours. I mean, you could have guessed half.
I had so many. But... Yeah.
And we got it down to final 16 on Twitter. So the ones that automatically qualified, so these are the ones that we nominated more than once, are the ones on the left-hand side behind me. So Detroit Become Human got 3 nominations. I think Pab's the only one not on brand there.
Did you not?
Yeah. What's wrong with you, Pab?
Not a game of the generation.
Of course it is. And then the other 7 on there each got 2 votes. So I think me and Sheepdog did Civilization 6. I think me and Pab did Firewatch. And then it must have been you and Pab did God of War, because me and him certainly didn't.
Good game.
Pokemon Go must have been me and Sheepdog. Spider-Man, presumably the 2 gamers again.
Yeah, I would put Spider-Man. I really played it before.
Who did Spider-Man then? Because I didn't.
I did.
You must have done.
Maybe I've done, yeah.
And then we've got the 2 Mario games as well. Super Mario Maker 2, which that shouldn't be allowed because it came out 3 weeks ago. And then Super Mario Odyssey. And then the Twitter votes, I didn't rig at all. I didn't put Fortnite in the same category as Football Manager and then retweet it.
Liar.
That didn't happen. So Fortnite, unfortunately, did get eliminated. So the Twitter qualifiers were Zelda Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption 2, Football Manager 2019, Overwatch, The Witcher 3, Rocket League, Fallout 4, and Divinity Original Sin. They are, I mean, we've just proven they are the 16 greatest games of this generation. But now we need to work out a winner. But before we work out a winner...
Wasn't Rocket League on the PlayStation 3?
When was Rocket League released? We need... Fortnite might get a route back in here. When did Rocket League come out?
I thought Rocket League started as a PC game.
Hold on.
Summer 2014.
Hey, there you go, it counts.
Okay.
It feels older than time, though, doesn't it?
It does.
That was PS Plus game. PS4.
There you go. These are the ones that we tried to nominate and didn't make it through. Does anyone have a particularly passionate speech they want to make about any of these games that didn't make it through, that should have done? For example, Persona 5, which everyone on Twitter is an idiot for not voting for Persona 5 because... What, South Park? A Way Out was brilliant. I don't know how... I can only assume A Way Out because it was quite niche, because it was co-op, and because it was PlayStation exclusive. There's just not enough people who played A Way Out,
So
but A
the
Way Out
game
was awesome.
you wanted is also not there. What became of Edith Finch?
Yeah, What Became of Edith Finch was my 11th one, which Anna then nominated.
Excellent.
What is this game? I don't ever remember that even coming out.
You've never played it?
No, I have no
it's
idea
such
what
a
it
good
is.
game.
I was
It
trying to remember
was.
the name of it.
It was just a wandering around a house that went a bit weird. Didn't you become a cat at some
Are you
point?
playing? Are you returning from a war or something?
No, you
No,
become.
is it another game?
You're like a shark and a cat.
Oh, there was a game where you turned up home from something. I thought you were talking about that. Don't worry.
Well, they do come home because they're at home. But
I'm sure there was something. Someone.
you get to be a cat.
Returns home.
Is this the one with the cat?
Yes.
Yeah, you get to be a cat climbing on a tree. It's
And
awesome.
then a shark.
Yeah.
Then a
It's
sea
just
monster.
nuts. What's the matter with you?
It's Gone Home we talking about.
Okay.
Someone went home. Someone came home.
No, that's all right. You described going into a house. And
Why is it called Gone Home if they came home? That seems poorly titled.
They've gone home.
Gone from the home.
Okay, I'll allow it. So yeah, Persona 5 absolutely should have won.
See, I thought I'd get a lot more votes for Sonic Mania because it kind of is the best Sonic game that came out.
But it was rubbish and it was too hard. What was good? Uncharted 4, I don't think enough of us had played to really throw a weight behind it. Plus it was quite early on in the generation, wasn't it? So I think people have forgotten about it.
4?
Uncharted 4 was, yeah. It was like 2015, maybe?
Yeah, fair enough.
So that was a little while ago and it probably just came up against stuff that was better than it.
Getting ahead of Kev pointing out that half of mine didn't even make it.
Yeah, Sheepdog's out of touch.
Mine came second in every single group they were in. It's really,
Yeah. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, I was like, oh look, Football Manager won, but mine came second, and it was like that in every group.
What was yours in that one? Did that actually beat Fortnite? Fortnite came third in its
It might
category.
not have been in that picture, I don't know, but like Batman came, they all came second, all 5 of them came second in their group, so I'm not that out of touch. There was
You're
always
pretty out of
someone more
touch.
out of touch.
You nominated 10 games and half of them nobody liked. You're completely out of touch. Dead Cells.
Dead Ellis.
Why?
Dead Ellis.
Dead Ellis, yeah. It's his fault it's called Dead Ellis. It's Bouncy's fault. Because when we went to Res last year, was it last year we went to Res? And he pointed it out to me and it looked like Dead Ellis on the poster. So from that moment on, it became Dead Ellis in my mind.
I like Dead Souls. It's
3 of
fun.
your games, I know, I can't even picture what they'd look like.
Horizon Zero Dawn is the one...
Dinosaurs.
That's the one that came without the game in the box, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
I
It
had
was
a
Recall.
Oh, was
Come
it?
with the... it was a Horizon game that came with the PS4 as well, wasn't it?
It was the dinosaurs made of...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a
Stop.
gaming podcast.
Wow.
We haven't got a clue what we're talking about.
I recognise every other one on
You
there.
should...
Bring back Bouncy.
No, we don't even know where he is. We can't track
We've
him
not seen him in
down.
years, we don't know where he is.
Yeah. We started wearing braces with jeans. We can't have him on the podcast. So let's get into the meat of this. We need to actually get some voting done. I did have a whole fancy system set up where we were going to have a poll on the wall and you were going to all do it on your phones. But I think we can probably get away with show of hands when we get up to this bit because it's not as if there's hundreds of people here.
Only 100 people here, for the people at home.
Yeah, I mean, the capacity of this room is 120. So, and look, over there are people who aren't quite in the room. So there's your evidence that there's more than 120 people here.
Yeah.
Sorted. So these are the groups for the finals. Again, randomly drawn, just like
Why do you
the
keep
Twitter
saying
votes.
That sounds like it's not randomly.
No.
I mean, look how random it looks.
Shark Man tab.
It was seeded, so each group had 2 of the ones we nominated and 2 of the ones from Twitter. But it genuinely was random.
The group C is hard, isn't it?
Well, they're all quite hard.
There's only, 2 Football Manager people here? 3 maybe?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Can we put Group D back to a vote
Whereas I got a
on
whole
Twitter?
Go group going earlier, so...
Surprised Football Manager got that far.
But that's because I retweeted it. That's why. I went one slide too far. So,
You almost went to the results of your voting.
there's no results. Look, we've got an interval. Oh, no. Oh, that's the right jingle. There you go. They've just had them in the wrong order. It's fine. So, Group A, Spider-Man. Who nominated Spider-Man? Why is Spider-Man the best game of the generation? Bear in mind, this is a game I played for 2 hours and have never felt the need to go back to.
Why?
Because it was just swinging around New York as Spider-Man, which was fun for 2 hours. I had a great 2 hours, but the actual game, the actual story, the stupid, really difficult boss battles that kill you constantly, it just wasn't a very good game.
When?
It was all the way through, but somewhere in the first 2 hours, I guess. You had to fight Kingpin.
Oh, that...
And there was a roof. I stopped when I got to a rooftop bit. I was like on the roof of a car park, and there was wave after wave of baddies coming at me, and I just kept dying and stopped and never went back to it.
I think they're like optional forward.
Yeah, you don't have to do
I don't
them.
think you need to do that.
Wow, interesting. Maybe this is the best game of the generation then. Although, if it was, I imagine they would have signposted stuff like that a little bit better, so intelligent men such as myself didn't get confused
No,
in
but
such a manner.
Green and red or something, and you just didn't see it.
No, the policeman says that these are his things. Go and take it down, but you don't have to.
But why is it the best then? Like I say, I played it for 2 hours and I've never felt the need to go back. Why should people vote for Spider-Man over Firewatch, which is obviously better than the other 3 games on that list?
Have you played The Witcher?
Yeah, I played 10 hours of The Witcher. Again, got bored. It was a 10-hour tutorial. Who has time to play a game for 80 hours now? The reason Firewatch is so perfect... In fact, every single game in Group A, I played for one night only. Spider-Man, I streamed it for a night, for a couple of hours, got bored, didn't go back. Overwatch, I played for one night with Pab when it was on Xbox Live for free, and that was a lot of fun. The Witcher 3, I played quite a lot of, but I just got bored when I got to the end of the tutorial. Firewatch, I had a complete and satisfying gaming experience, and it was fantastic. because the game was only 2 hours long.
Out of that group, I've only played Spider-Man for 2.5 hours.
You don't like games.
Why did you stop? Because it was boring.
No, because my son walked in and there was machine guns everywhere and I was smashing people to pieces.
What about the game, though?
You can't really watch this, so I turned it off. There's a bit of a pattern with a few of those games where that's what happened.
Stop playing in your living room.
I was playing in my bedroom.
What was he doing in there then? Just tell him to go away.
You want to go away, all you can hear was me swearing at a TV and getting annoyed.
You need to get a PlayStation in your garage. That's what the cool kids do.
I keep asking you to come and help me clear my garage out.
You didn't help me clear my garage out.
I'm pretty sure I filled a skip with you once. I assumed that was connected.
I think that was when Anna moved in.
Might have been,
So really, you've helped Anna out, so she should come and help you clear your garage.
Yeah.
Sorted. That can be a job for tomorrow. So I assume we're all voting for Firewatch then, as no one else has a passionate reason for one of the others. Pab, you nominated Firewatch as well. You agree it's better than them? You nominated Firewatch as well. You agree it's better than the other three, don't you?
Which is better than...
You idiot. But that's what this lot are going to vote for.
There was 3 years ago.
Do they look right to you?
Yes.
You're an idiot.
Oh,
Shut up,
great.
Jack. Shut up, Jack. Right, you lot owe it to yourselves to go home and play Firewatch right now. Good. I didn't ask. We can do an hour and a half's interval now while we go and have some nice Thai food in the bar. You lot can all go and play Firewatch, come back, and then we'll all agree it was better than the other 3. You couldn't do that with the other 3 because you need too much time for them.
No, it's a good game, but The Witch is better.
Right, let's have a vote then. We're going to have a show of hands, so we'll go through... Sheepdog, you're on counting duty.
Oh, great.
So we'll go through each game. You raise your hand if you can only vote once.
How are you recording
Sheepdog,
this?
you're going to count them and tell them which...
Where are you going to put that?
We'll just remember which... There's 4 options. We'll just remember which one won. And if we don't, one of this lot will.
All right, fair enough.
So for Spider-Man, if it's Spider-Man who's the best of that group, how many's that, Sheepdog? Are we getting to vote as well?
If people are putting their hands up after I've
1,
counted
2,
their
3,
part,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think Spider-Man's going to win. Because that's like half the people here. Unless you're listening at home, in which case... Yeah, exactly. Firewatch. You absolute shower of...
Yes!
Bouncing!
Are we allowed to vote? Because I'll vote
Yeah.
for Spider-Man because it's the only one I played.
Oh, 11 Spider-Man.
Was that another vote there for Firewatch? Bouncy vote
He was
for
asking if he
Firewatch.
could leave.
So Firewatch got 2 votes. Overwatch. Excellent. 0 votes for Overwatch. And The Witcher 3.
1,
That
2,
looks like less
3,
than
4,
Spider-Man to
5,
me.
6, 7, 8,
Right, sorry.
9.
So Spider-Man is through to the semi-finals. I genuinely thought The Witcher 3 would win that round. Even though Firewatch should have done. But Spider-Man...
The Witcher 3 is a long game.
I've got that pre-ordered when it comes out on Switch. I'm eager to play that again because I'll be able to play it on the toilet and stuff. But Spider-Man, I've just got no desire to ever go back to.
Wow.
Which is mad. Right, Group B. Huh?
You've got the new suits now from Frankfurt.
I
Yeah.
just
But the
don't
stealth
care.
suits in it, the red and black suits in it.
Is that really a selling point for people to wear different suits as Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Really?
I remember after that game, he's unlocking the...
Yeah, but what's the point?
Stealth suit is the best suit.
Can you play with naked Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
I was expecting you to say no. So I can play naked
it's
Peter
not.
Parker.
Just silly.
Just Peter Parker in his pants
Yeah.
with a bag over
Yeah,
his
I don't
head.
mean
Excellent.
balls out, I mean underwear.
I might give this another try. Group B is the Nintendo plus Fallout group. This is like a group of death. This is
I
horrible.
think this is the biggest group of death there.
So Super Mario Odyssey is obviously great. But the thing is, you've got the Nintendo vote split 3 ways. This is any Nintendo fans out there, you've got to talk amongst yourselves and decide where you're putting your vote, because otherwise Fallout is going to win this round. Super Mario Maker 2, if we were doing this in a year's time, probably would be there, but I don't think it's fair for that to win 3 weeks after release, even though it's brilliant. Zelda Breath of the Wild was just turd. And Fallout 4, I don't know, does anyone like that?
Hold on, this was just for a bit of DLC, but he said I couldn't have that, I had to have the game.
So, hold on, you want to nominate just a piece of DLC?
Yeah, because it was great.
Because the rest of the game was rubbish. Odyssey, I would say of those 4, Odyssey is clearly the best of the 4. But Zelda got a lot of love from people at the time, trying to convince me it was like Skyrim, and it wasn't.
It is.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. How is that like Skyrim? Because if you put them on a scale, you've got Skyrim over here being good, and then Zelda over here being rubbish. They're very different to each other.
You just have to get past the tutorial.
I did get past the tutorial. I jumped off the side of that stupid floating planet thing, and then just kept dying everywhere I went.
Why?
I don't know, I wanted to go and join the Thieves Guild. You told me it was like Skyrim. I wanted to go off, join the Thieves Guild, and build a house in the woods.
It's not exactly like Skyrim.
Well, then it should have taken the good bits of Skyrim, not the rubbish bits. It's very silly. So where are your votes going for this category, boys and girls?
Me?
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey.
Pab?
Breath of the Wild.
You're an idiot. Anna?
Fallout.
Fallout? No,
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, I'm surprised at you.
I don't like Mario Maker. Super
I
Mario.
don't get that about you. How
like
do you
it.
not like Mario Maker?
I
It
think it's
troubles
very
me so
boring.
much. How
Because I
though?
want a story. I don't want to go around and...
I had a bit of story to mine, although that one was just pain and misery.
I just don't like it. Odyssey, played more Mario games, you played them all. And Breath
That's
of the Wild.
literally the opposite of the tagline for Super Mario Maker 2.
I
Because it's complete. I played a Mario Maker 2 level yesterday that was just a game of ping pong.
Well,
where
we're,
they'd
allowed
set-
to, we're allowed to have
It was
different
amazing.
opinions, Kevin.
We are, but I'm trying to sway yours to be the same as mine,
I
so
don't
I
want
win.
it to be like yours.
But I do.
I like Fallout 4, played too many
I'm
hours
worried
of it.
Fallout's going to win. If Spider-Man and Fallout are the first semi-final, I'm going to go home. So, votes for Super Mario Odyssey, which is obviously the correct one to vote for if you don't want Fallout to win. I think you should. Count Jack
2,
twice.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's not a
No,
large
8.
number. Are you counting me and Sheepdog as well?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hands up again, everybody.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So it was 10 groups of like 15 people, for those of you listening at home. Super Mario Maker 2.
Two,
I like the fact
three.
that's getting some early love. That is, if we did this again next year, that would win. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
2, 3.
3.
You nerds.
It's a worrying look for Fallout, though.
And Fallout 4.
Oh, no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many did Mario get?
11.
Mario got what?
11.
So Mario Odyssey is through to the semi-final. Excellent. Good work, Mario. Fallout is finished.
Why?
Right, Group C.
Mario Pod.
Group C, it's going to be very easy for you lot to make a big mistake here. Because there's 2 games in there that I think people who don't understand games, i.e. not me, will think are better than Detroit. Obviously, Detroit is the best game of the generation because it had the most perfect story of any game ever. It was told brilliantly and it was awesome.
But you didn't play God of War.
I did play God of War. I played Detroit, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't play Divinity Original Sin. I understand I wasn't missing much.
It's a good game.
But Detroit has obviously got to win this category, hasn't it? Has anyone got any argument for one of the other 3? Because I don't understand how you could.
I've had more of a reaction to Red Dead in the past couple of days than I did with Detroit.
But it took you a year after release to get to that point because it wasn't gripping you. Whereas Detroit, you had
Kevin,
that reaction in the first 48 hours.
I had a half a year of uni to get
You
through.
still played Detroit. Didn't Detroit come out like the same week as Red Dead? It was around the same time and you
Did they
finished...
really? Because Red Dead I stopped playing again because my son walked in and I was fighting the Ku Klux Klan. Whereas I played Detroit in my living room and didn't really... I mean, that
Yeah, but you didn't get the whole story, did you?
But he still enjoyed the game, so he managed to kill the main character 20 minutes in and still enjoy the game.
Do you know you can kill them all the main characters?
Yeah, what, has
Okay.
anyone who's played Detroit, has anyone killed everybody and can let us know what happens? 'Cause
Oh,
I-
it's
I have
on
read that
YouTube.
you end up with just a different group at the end, like just other
Interesting.
characters.
I've never played Detroit, but I heard that's probably the best thing.
You're very wise.
Absolutely the best game on there.
Go on then, Pab, what is the best one?
When you said this is what we're doing, my instant thought was God of War. Immediately.
It is
Above-
really
above
good.
Witcher 3.
But I tried playing God of War and it was not
Yeah, but
very
you-
good.
And you didn't play the story.
I did play the story.
No, you didn't.
I did like a YouTube series on this. I did like 10 episodes. No, I did like 10 episodes of a YouTube series and stopped because I got bored.
Because you was
Could you play it in?
So much.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
probably
it
got
does.
about 2 hours through 2 hours worth of story out of that 10-hour gameplay.
Yep.
So what you're telling me is the game's not very well signposted, and I kept getting lost.
I didn't get
That
lost.
seems like a fault in the game design to me. It's like playing Sheepdog's level on Mario Maker.
It is. And it was golden. It's one of the best stories.
It is a good story. Yes,
And
definitely.
Red Dead Redemption, I thought, was on my shortlist.
Actually,
Even though
running out of
I've played about 6 hours of it, I know full well that game is what it is. I don't like it, but it is going to be a game of this generation, no doubt.
I should have fixed these categories better. I'm not happy with how this appears to be going. Should we do the voting?
Did all three of us put, or all four of us put Detroit then?
No, Pab didn't put Detroit because Pab's wrong.
Detroit's not that good.
Can you go and sit somewhere else? Bouncy, are you free this afternoon?
Stop it.
It's not. It is fine, but it's not worthy of game of the generation compared to God of War or Red Dead 2.
It's making me angry.
I played Red Dead for about 8 hours or so, thought it was quality. But looking back at gameplay, Detroit's definitely there.
See, Jack knows.
I was going to say, to be Pat's defence, part of me...
See, Matt knows as well.
I don't own a PlayStation, and I've never owned any of those games, but I watched 4 playthroughs of Detroit, and every single one was different.
Red Dead's still,
And they were all enjoyable.
Red Dead's
Whereas God of War, I watched Kev play for 10 hours and wasn't interested in finding out what the outcome was.
Thanks,
Oh,
Matt.
wow, it was. It was excellent.
How dare you?
Red Dead's still a quality game, but I just think Detroit's...
I keep thinking that in a few years, because we've just had the Black Mirror Bandersnatch and the, what's his name, the bloke who went out, Bear Grylls, and a few shows like that. Detroit feels like the future version of that. That means they probably won't be console games in 5 years. They're just programs we interact with, which is great because that means that we can do the best TV show of all time in 5 years and that'll win that. But in the meantime, it's a game. It's amazing. And
That's the
it's
thing.
such a good story.
It's more of an interactive story to me than a game. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
That's
it's more
game for me.
Yeah,
I'd rather
that's
not
like
move my
it's-
fingers
Can't
and do it.
accidentally punch a horse in it.
No one accidentally punches a horse, Matt.
No.
It's always deliberate, even if you pretend it's accidental. Right, let's vote. Detroit, Become Human. Hands in the air. Look at that sea of
1, 2,
hands.
3, 4, 5, 6,
glorious,
7, 8,
glorious
9,
people.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14,000 people voting for Detroit. God of War. Oh, Pab, how does that feel? Oh, Pab! Oh, I need to go and give him a hug. Pab's little game gets Pab's vote. 1. For those of you listening at home, that was 1. Red Dead Redemption 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. How is there suddenly more people for this category who wasn't voting before?
Someone listening at home is adding these up each time and being like, this crowd goes between 1,000 people and 10 people.
Yeah, if you are listening at home, we're doing this on a parade float, so it's just whoever's listening as we drive past them. Divinity Original Sin 2, which, bearing in mind, Anna nominated and hasn't even attempted to tell us is any good. Divinity Original Sin 2, any votes for that?
Never heard of it.
I enjoyed it. I played like 100 hours
But you've already
into
voted,
it.
haven't you?
Yeah, because Red Dead was better.
So Detroit is through to the semi-final, and it will face the winner of Group D, which is this is an interesting group. This is like my group. I loved all of these games. So we've got Civilization 6, Pokemon Go, Rocket League, and Football Manager 2019.
Oh gosh.
How do you like this group, Anna? What's your pick here?
I'm gonna have to go with Football Manager.
Seriously, despite the fact you were playing Pokemon this afternoon.
Yeah, but that pays our bills.
Oh, I like the way you're thinking. There's none of them here, though. You can say what you want. They're not here. They don't listen. Although they have sent us some prizes for the raffle, so thank you very much to our friends at Sports Interactive. Does anyone want to make a strong argument for any one of these? Obviously, Football Manager. The thing is, genuinely, I could put a strong argument for Football Manager, Pokemon Go, or Civilization 6. Rocket League is fun, and I've enjoyed playing Rocket League, but it is just like a fun little thing to mess around with. But Pokemon Go, I've played consistently for more than 3 years now. Civilization 6, I mean, it was the only thing on my Switch for like 4 months after it came out.
Yeah, you had a mind.
I played it constantly. I would stay up late playing it. Anna would have to take the Switch off me.
You think he's joking?
No.
I've had too many nights where I've been playing Civilization and got into a fight with Gandhi, and then I've looked at the time and it's 4 a.m.
His son walks in, he's battering Gandhi.
But it's just, it happens. I don't play it because I know I will lose track.
There are only 2 games that have ever kept me up all night until I've seen the sun come up, and that's Football Manager and Civilization. Admittedly, neither of those versions of those games, because I'm an adult now and Anna takes things off me before the sun comes up. But back in the day when Anna wasn't there to take things off me, both of those games would keep me up all night and I wouldn't even realise what the time is. So I could happily see either of them win.
Pokemon Go is the only game that's ever got me to walk. I've scheduled 3 hours of my life tomorrow to go out and play it, and I do that once. I think it's once a month. Yeah, it's once a month.
Sheepdog gets 3 hours of exercise once a month because of this game. It saved his life.
It's the closest I've come to realising how inactive I am when it tells you how many steps you've done each week, and everyone I know is hitting 50k and I haven't even reached 10. So it's starting to make me question myself a little bit. And I think at least 9 of those were in my car. So yeah, it's definitely a life-changing game, and it was a phenomenon, and it still is, really.
So obviously, are we even allowed to talk about this, by the way?
Yeah, I wondered that when I nominated it.
Because I was just about to compare it to something, but now I'm thinking, well, I can't. And we're not allowed to talk about it. No, we nominated Harry Potter Wizards Unite. I was baffled. Shut your face. Yeah, I was playing it this morning because they had their first community event and no one knew. So,
yeah, half an hour before the end because I might get some free wizard energy, which I regret because now I've got too much and it's got a little red thing on it.
Too much energy, eh? What will you do with that? You could go for another walk to burn it off.
I doubt it. Did you vote Rocket League?
I voted Rocket League, yeah.
Do you think it's going to win?
No, I'm just trying to scupper the Football Manager.
I still don't know where I'm voting.
It's the worst Football Manager in my lifetime, so it's not going to win.
See, I thought it was really...
I don't understand people who say that nonsense, Matt. Football Manager has got better every year forever.
It's awful.
It's always been awful. It's Football Manager.
It's worse than 2018 or 2017 or 2010 or 2004.
Are they personal favourites of yours, or are you just naming years? I really loved 2004's version. It was excellent.
I would say this year of Football Manager, there was a massive leap between the next one. This year didn't seem like that much, really.
I would
it's not
consider
like
this
you
my
can do
favourite
it.
in years if it wasn't for the fact that the 2 really decent saves I've done corrupted, and it reminded me why.
Sounds like Football Manager, yeah.
And plus, this is the year that they did the whole new tactics thing and the whole new training thing.
Training on it.
Training I haven't used, but the tactics thing has been awesome.
Plus Spurs are good in it. Spurs haven't been good as a Football Manager for years.
It's all I do.
It's still a good game, so I don't think it made that leap.
But I enjoy watching it for 1,000 hours a
It
year.
should be game of the generation, though. I mean,
Oh no, it shouldn't be. That's my one thing that's making me think I might even vote for Civilization 6. If you can assure me that Sports Interactive won't hear this podcast.
It's still a good game. It's still, I would say it's still the best game. It's not had a
Trouble is- sorry for you there. I'm always mine. I also feel a bit odd about, and I'm making sure I don't contradict myself here, but I feel odd voting for a sequel to something as well. Like Civ 5 was better than Civ 6.
Civilization 6 was on the Switch.
The old Football Manager's been better than this one. So if they're not the best in their own series, how can they be the best in the generation? Whereas Pokemon Go was like the...
That's brand new IP.
But it was... No, it's not. But
So there we go.
But it was the first of Niantic's games, and then Wizards Unite was their sequel, and their sequel hasn't been as good as their previous.
Ingress their first game.
I know. Well, you're right. It's an improvement on Ingress. It's a weak.
So you like some sequels if they're your favourite game, but other sequels you want to discount.
What I'm saying is they're not the best in their series. So Civilization 6 is not the best in its
So you're telling me
series.
Pokemon Go is the best Pokemon game?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Without doubt. 100%. It's the only one you can get all the Pokemon in, for starters.
The only one that got Street Walker.
Yeah, exactly. The others used to say go outside and stuff, but I never did. Just told me. I know you really need to open your heart. I'm like, nah.
Well, if we're talking about that, Football Manager mocks you for sitting in your pants and all that stuff, doesn't it? So it does have that.
Does it
Football Manager.
really?
Do you listen to it?
Yeah, when you save the game, it has a little comment. These haven't changed for 20 years. That just says stuff like you need to go and change your underwear and stuff like that. It was funny when I was a kid, and the comments are still the same now, and I like it for the nostalgia. Let's do a vote. So, Civilization 6. Wowzers. If I saw a load of people put their hands up, mine was going up too. But there's no way I'm doing a pad. Pokemon Go. Oh my word.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Just to give a little bit of important information that I think I need to share, if his game wins this whole thing, we will never release another podcast episode. Just so you're all aware, that's what's at stake.
Just keep winning with this.
Rocket League. Oh, Football Manager 2019. I'd like the records to show I voted for this game. That was a landslide for Pokemon Go, and I'm now a little bit worried about the future of this competition. So, I don't think we need to necessarily redo all of the deliberations. The first semi-final is Spider-Man versus Super Mario Odyssey. Does anyone have anything they need to say comparing one to t'other, other than the fact, obviously, Super Mario Odyssey I finished because it was good, Spider-Man I didn't finish because it was boring.
To you.
I could play that in front of my kids, so I completed it. Yeah.
See, I did the opposite. I didn't finish Super Mario, but
Yeah, but
I platinum.
what you're doing there, Pap, is confirming I'm right because of how your record you've now got for backing the losing horse.
Don't be mean.
Which one are you going to vote for?
What are them two?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're having a split vote amongst us as well. Interesting. This might be quite tight. Everyone, think about what you're doing here. You need to think the game best placed to beat Pokemon Go. Yeah.
3 times.
Which game is most likely to beat Pokemon Go? That's what we need to be thinking about here. And Spider-Man ain't beating Pokemon Go, is it? So, who's voting for Spider-Man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes for that. And Super Mario Odyssey is a massive landslide. I don't even need to count. There's so many hands. Hands as far as the eye can see, because there's a wall at the back of the room. So that's Super Mario Odyssey through to the final. And Super Mario Odyssey will face the winner of Detroit, which is obviously the best game of the generation, and Pokemon Go. How are you voting here, Sheepdog? Detroit versus Pokemon Go.
It's got to be Pokemon.
It can't be Pokemon. It's a game about generation. The phones aren't in the generation.
I know what you're saying.
No, hold on. Now, Matt, allow me to refer you back to the rules. Any game on any format released for the first time since the PlayStation 4 was first released on the 15th of November 2013.
I think...
You can only play Detroit on PS4. You can play Pokemon Go on a 300-year-old...
Allow me to refer you back to the rules, Matt. They're very clear.
Yeah,
But you can only play
a game that was
Spider-Man.
made on like the Atari this year, you could vote for it. That's the rules. Christine probably...
We didn't make the rules, Matt. We just have to follow them.
You did make the rules.
We did, and we will follow them. Yeah, Sheepdog didn't make the rules, so he has to abide by the rules.
They write the rules right now.
And I tried to bend those rules every which way I could possibly bend them to make my life
I do
easier.
like the fact we've got a potential loophole where I can disqualify Pokemon Go, though.
No, I think if a mobile phone game wins, it is indicative of how...
If a mobile phone game wins, doesn't that mean we all need
Yeah,
to
but you
stop?
could still use the Switch.
Because seriously,
Surely it's Simpsons.
The world has changed. I checked, it came out too soon to get in, Matt. So
yeah. I checked when I was writing the rules because I've met him.
That means that the generation is continuing.
And then we could do this all again next year.
Where another phone game will win.
It is,
I feel like it's going
it is a worrying sign if a mobile phone game wins best game in the generation.
Why is that worrying? It's made a lot of money. It's
Like TikTok said, it got people upside.
Because
changed the world.
10-year-old Kev would have been disgusted.
Why?
Because you're not allowed to take the phone outside because you get yelled at for it for a start.
Well, at that point, 8 years ago, Kev would be discussing the PC games on there about eating ice cream.
That's true. I miss those days. I have a gaming PC now. What happened to me? I am a pervert. I'm an ice cream cone munching pervert and proud. So let's get the voting done. Obviously, we all know the correct thing to vote for is Detroit. Vote incorrectly at your own risk. Votes for Detroit to Become Human. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's confusing me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no. Votes for Pokemon Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bouncy, didn't you have your hand up for the other one as well? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We counted us two.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So it's Mario v Pokemon.
No, I said 10. Said 10 for... There's someone in here not voting who could have voted for Detroit. So we have the final. The two best games of the generation are Super Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Go.
That is hard. I know where I'm going, but it's still hard.
I'm disgusted at where I think I'm going, because I think out of those two, I'm probably voting Pokemon. After everything I've just said. Super Mario Odyssey was great, but it wasn't Detroit great. And I think Pokemon...
Remember Nottingham?
I did see the romance of MGPX last time in Nottingham, sat out in a beer garden playing Pokemon. I mean, I'm wearing a Pokemon Go Plus as I'm saying all of this, for goodness sake. We just need to get this over with. Votes for Super Mario Odyssey. Jack's joined Pab's group of nerds.
Mario Odyssey is better than Pokemon, but Pokemon's better.
And Pokemon Go, I mean, that's pretty much everybody here. We don't even need to count.
Sorry,
So somehow, we're going to be the laughing stock of the internet. Somehow, the Mature Gamer podcast has agreed, amongst hosts and audience, the people who weren't here won't understand how this happened.
Don't lump us two into this.
Well, no, we agreed. There is a consensus.
Well, you voted on it last round, though, Pat. You got it to the semis, so you kind of agree.
The greatest game of the generation is Pokemon Go. I was always Team Pokemon. Yay. No. Right, the plan now.
I think that means I should be allowed to talk about it now.
No, it's still banned for 6 months.
Our audience clearly loves it. Ban your weird wizard game that no one knows the name of. But I'll carry on talking about the...
Who wants Pokemon Go to return to the podcast? Show of hands. Excellent. 2 people. So no, you can't. They like the game. They don't want you to talk about it any more than you already have, though. So the plan now, we are going to break briefly so that you can refill your beverage, empty any parts of your body that need emptying. Just like 15 minutes or so. Then when we come back, if there's any interest in doing a Q&A, we can do a Q&A. If you're not bothered about that, we can get straight into the raffle. We can do a bit of a mix and match of the two. But if you need another drink, need a beverage, we'll kick things off again at 5 o'clock for a Q&A and raffle. Now, because we got the end music at the start, we're now going to listen to the start music at the end, I think, because some idiot got them the wrong way around. This is still not right, is it?
It just sounds like the drums, and the other one sounds like the guitar.
There you go. He's got the right idea. Give us a clap, for goodness sake. People are listening to this. Still no clapping. We've just done a show for you all. Thank you. Who's booing? Get him out. Right, we'll be back at 5 o'clock. That's a good point. Oh, did we thank the show sponsor, by the way? MGPX 2019, brought to you by Matt. That's Matt. He's the man who made this show possible. What? Did you two pay towards Matt's money? No. Okay, so the Bad Bookers Wrestling podcast as well.
It's on there.
I know. Right, go away for 5 minutes. Go get a drink. If Bouncy wants to shut his face. I've lost the bit that says Q&A. It's literally just a white screen that's going to say Q&A on it, but we couldn't do it without that behind. There you go. The amount of time I spent on that was...
Hours.
Yeah, a year's worth of teacher training taught me how to do that. You'd like it to...
Where's the A so close to the outside?
I'm not a font designer, Bouncy.
Not no spaces, just like Q.
I mean, what is actually happening at the moment? Are you...
Do we have a...
We're participating in the Q&A.
No, that's fine. That's fine. If you want a space, look how stupid that looks. That's hideous.
You marked down an observation from me because my font was too small. So don't start that.
Yeah, smoothman, no one could read it. Do we need to get into your feedback now? Because we can go and sit outside if you want. Right, as we mentioned before, we're just going to do a little bit of Q&A for as long as you want to do it. We're not... the four of us aren't all arrogant enough to think people want to do that.
Just that.
Yeah, just that. But if you've got any questions that you particularly want to ask, if you want to spark a conversation topic, that kind of thing, we're happy to go with the flow for a little while. And then as soon as that peters out or gets boring, we'll do the raffle. So, Jack, hello.
What was your favourite game of the generation?
My favourite game of the generation was Detroit Become Human. You were looking at me, so, you know.
Everyone's favourite game.
You could ask them individually.
I was going to say Fallout.
I don't think she is, because she didn't even want to nominate Fallout and her 10, she just wanted the DLC.
Fallout 76 was that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Why was that not on there?
Well,
Not even in the top 10?
I had fun with it, but it's a bit empty.
So Divinity Original Sin 2 is better than Fallout 76?
I put more hours into
I
it.
think Anna
Interesting.
She played that and defended it. Because enough time has passed that she can save face about it being bad now. Like,
It's not like it's because I went
You
to...
literally talked about it last week's podcast.
did we?
Did I go back into it?
Full disclosure,
Possibly.
sometimes I go to the other side of my kitchen and start making drinks. So I might.
And to be fair, he's on the podcast, once a month? Because he's off at weddings, so...
If I'm not talking, I'm probably doing the washing up.
Or at a wedding.
Or at a wedding.
Pab, what was your best game of the generation?
Like I said, when you said that this is what we're doing, my initial thought was God of War.
Interesting.
Like I say, but before God of War...
Is that because Triple H was in it?
Was it?
He was the main character, wasn't he?
It means the Kratos looks like
Right, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. I don't know, it's a good game. I mean, I spoke to Nicky before, he said the story didn't grab him. And it didn't.
We know who you are, Nicky. You don't need to wave. You bought us dinner at EGX. You don't need to wave and identify yourself to us.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't grab me out at first time. I didn't particularly like it either, but then I just forced myself to keep playing it, and eventually the story was enough to grab me. And then I got used to the mechanics and the gameplay, and I grew to love it.
Yeah, if I hadn't played Red Dead this week, I would have gone.
What, so Red Dead's your top one?
At the moment, yeah.
Don't want a game to grab you straight away, not
Yes!
But the old God of War is different to this God of War.
You're going to be so shocked when one of the main characters that's on the box dies in the first 20 minutes. And you just think, that's really bold.
When I'm reading reviews and I'm looking at gameplay and people saying this is the best game around at the minute, and then I want to know what this is. I want to know why people are saying this.
Stuff like that turns me off. If I see the sun, says it's the best
probably
game ever. No, but it's on the box, on the advert, Kotaku or
Was the sun really on the box for God of War?
Well, I don't know. I just picked the first review.
I don't think it came out. No, but I mean...
So what you're saying is sheep don't read the sun?
Haven't you had a DM conversation with their editor on Twitter, so you are quite in
yeah,
with
but
them?
he won't help me anymore because he sees how anti him I am. I asked for his help with one of your causes, and he just said, "No, I've read your tweets, so they're helping you."
I would say that's quite a life achievement, having the editor of The Sun say that to you.
It's pretty worrying, isn't it?
I'm morally opposed to you, I'm not helping you.
Imagine being morally opposed by the Sun. That's a bad. That should be my bio.
Surely that's everybody's aim in life.
Yeah. The Sun dislike my views. That should be your
when
Twitter
the rapture
bio.
happens, I'm just bursting into flames and disappearing, and you know, it's stupid. He's gone. I'm the only one worldwide. Just burst into flames. He didn't ask me what my gaming generation.
Well, we asked all of us. He was clear about that before.
But you asked them down the line.
That's because I care about their opinions.
Okay, but, I mean, obviously, it goes without saying I'm happy with the result. I was chatting in the break there about how, of all the games that came out this generation, the one I thought, so Pokemon's my quick answer. The one I thought most hard done by as a game, because the other two in its trio, this trilogy, were great, is the Arkham Knight game, which I voted for and got absolutely no votes.
Because of the Batmobile.
Yeah,
because of the Batmobile.
I hated it.
But if you could have, like Pab said about getting through it and ignoring that ugly part of the game.
But I couldn't do it.
No, which you couldn't, that's fine. If that had a skip button, like GTA 5 did, I honestly felt that would have been up there in everyone's mind.
GTA 5.
That is,
all games need a skip
that
button.
That is one of the few games, very
Red
few
Dead
games I've 100%ed and absolutely done every inch of. I did all the Riddler things, I did everything with it. And I played DLC, and I never played DLC in games. Even if I bought the pass thing that meant I got it, I didn't play it, whereas I did on that one. I feel like they shot themselves in the foot by not having a skip button. They would have definitely been in the top 10, I reckon, if they'd have done.
When did GTA come out?
Before.
It was like 4 months before the. Yeah, it was discounted on a technicality.
It was on 360.
GTA Online, I think, came out after the cut-off point. So
I don't understand how that is still played so much. Like GTA Online, I've played 2 nights and never touched.
It's all good.
I think that just proves how.
It wasn't bad. I didn't think it was bad. I just don't get it.
It's done more since that came
you
out.
did spend that whole time you were playing it trying to disintegrate a car, though. You weren't actually playing it.
It's mad it's still stuff. But I'm not surprised. The amount of money they've made out of it, they must be still out there.
In 3 days, there's a new update. There's a update.
There you go. That's Rockstar yelling in from the back. We've got a new update coming soon. We're still relevant.
I wish they'd just make 6 and just crack on. Rather
They don't need to because everyone's still giving them money for 5.
Yeah, I know. But it's a shame that I think they're less likely to make an. I mean, I might be wrong. They might already be working on it, but another proper Arkham-y game. That's not probably going to be happening.
Well, they made it and called it Spider-Man. Admittedly, a different team.
Completely different people made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that seemed like they'd cracked it. I wanted a Justice League version of that. That's my dream superhero game, a Justice League version of the Arkham Knight game.
Did you play that?
Equally being Metropolis.
I loved all the Arkham games until Arkham Knight. It was only the Batmobile thing that I didn't like. The previous ones I loved. It was just the Batmobile ruined it because I couldn't. And it wasn't. I wasn't enjoying the game. I got to that point and couldn't do it. The
Batmobile. Colorblind.
It was hard. 100% in that was ridiculous. I'm no good at games, and I managed to do it because I was bloody minded and I wanted to know
who it was.
Yeah, I wanted to know who the knight was. That's it. I was like, who is this knight? And he spoiler alert, he'd called it.
No.
The moment I'm not going to say, but he called it straight away. The week it came out, he was like, it's probably this character.
Well, it was pretty obvious.
I was like,
I mean, the game did basically tell you itself in the first hour.
Did it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, he called it straight away anyway. I wouldn't.
To boost his ego some more.
He's taken so many losses today with Pokemon Go gaming.
I'm wearing the wristband! Right, we got another question. There were more hands up. Event sponsor, Matt.
What's more embarrassing, killing a podcast by voting Pokemon Go as the greatest game of the decade?
I don't remember any of that.
Or killing a podcast by saying we're going on holiday to Belgium next week and then not doing a podcast for 3 months?
I mean, we did have a nice time in Belgium, to be fair.
That is, if you're going to kill a podcast, and this is, for you guys who bad,
this is old stuff. This is 10 years ago.
We did our Best Thing From podcast where we travelled around the country, visiting the best thing in every county. Which
before your time.
Into it. It was all about free time at uni. We just went out and had a laugh.
All of our money as well went into it.
And then we
were living together at the time.
30 podcasts in, and we thought, we've got 400 listeners here. We've hit the big time. Let's go to Belgium. We're just going to do a special in Belgium.
Well, no, if you remember, it was originally going to be the Best Thing From Europe. We had a trip planned that was Germany and Luxembourg and Denmark and the Netherlands and France. We were going for like 4 days, and then we realised you have to pay for these things. So we scaled it back to what's near Calais.
We realised we had to pay for it, so we invited Fardin, friend of the show.
Yeah, he basically paid for it.
Paid like half the petrol, even though there was 3 of us.
He drank a lot of orange juice in Bruges.
So Belgium was a complete waste of time for him. We went to Belgium, we drank a lot of beer while Fardin watched and drank orange juice. We smoked a lot of cigars.
We did.
I slept with my clothes on every
And his
morning.
boots on.
Yeah, never actually ever took them out of the closet.
And I got fleas out of the youth hostel bed. So it was a lovely time. It was had by all.
And then
£7 a night.
We never did a podcast about it. We stopped the podcast. We announced we were.
I mean, to be fair, we've just done something we swore we'd never do, and we told people about what happened in Belgium.
That's a good point.
Because Matt's been sat there for 10 years wondering what we did.
But honestly, we built it up.
What was the best thing from Belgium?
The Chip Museum, I think. Do you agree?
Beer.
They did have a beer museum as well.
The Gar. We had this beer.
That beer was good.
12%, and they put it in these little cups. I wouldn't know it was.
And they serve it with cheese.
So I can have drinking them. I kept ordering more.
You go and get this beer, they give you that much and give you a little couple of cubes of cheese to have with it, because you can't drink this beer without the cheese. It doesn't taste right. So you have to have your little bit of cheese, a little sip of the beer. It's on this little side street. We only found out about it from the youth hostel guidebook that told us to go there.
It's the only place in the world you can drink it. There's lots of places that's the only time and place you can drink something. But we
were young and idiots, and we went and Fardin stood outside watching our bags while we went in.
Wasn't allowed in because he didn't drink, so he had to stand outside with our stuff and just drink whatever drink he brought from the corner.
It wasn't the pub who weren't letting him in. We wouldn't let him in unless he had a beer with us.
They were like, no, we've only got 10 seats. Like, there's 9 people in here, so one of us doesn't have to stand.
Looking back, that was quite a racist pub.
I had like 4 of these Gar drinks, and then on the way home, I'm like, I don't feel good. And he's reading the pamphlet in the back, and he's like, it says it's 12%. And like, I'd just been drinking them back all morning. It wasn't even like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had 4 of them. But that was a great trip, and it killed the podcast, and we never did another episode.
Yeah.
So what's more embarrassing, killing a podcast or doing that, or killing a podcast?
Well, we've only ever experienced one of them. I don't remember anything else you're talking about. Yeah.
You literally said your words earlier in this recording.
No one was recording that. Dean, did the microphone pick that up? I don't think they did it. No, there you go. Didn't pick it up
because of this. To be fair, if we end this now, and Pokemon goes that it's one.
Yeah, well, I can't end it like that. I need to get back to convincing everyone that that's not.
I might need to go to Belgium again just to really be sure.
Should we go to Belgium today? Who wants to come to Belgium with us? Should we get a minibus? Let's all go to Belgium. You live like 5 minutes away, so
but what we found was they only needed to check Fardin's passport. and only on the way back. They didn't care on the way out, but on the way back they just checked in while we carried on. So I mean, he's not here.
And that was the day where we tested to see if we were being monitored by the government as well, didn't we? Because I sent Sheepdog a text at like 4 a.m. Just to, a standard text saying, just to confirm, Sheepdog, we're getting on the Eurotunnel at this time in my car, registration number this, and we've filled the panels of the car with heroin. I'll pick you up in a few minutes. We didn't get stopped, so no one's monitoring my phone.
Completely safe. It's like,
yeah. Do we have another question? Yes.
I think it was Sheepdog that did, but how was the WhatsApp group?
Oh, my WhatsApp. I'll check the most recent scandal.
Oh, for goodness
I know that they were squawking last night because someone drove their car in the bench outside my house, and then these kids were all just sat on it, minding their own business. They were doing nothing wrong. And
we've already heard this
how
story.
Loose the plank was, so he was just waving a plank of wood around, and he put it on the floor, and he went home. They went mental. It was just, this woman was out there. It was like that video of the American Indian picking the rubbish up and just looking at all the littered fields and crying. She's just looking at her bench and just little tears, and her husband's trying to calm her down. And they squawk about it constantly.
We're getting bench updates now, is that what's...
Yeah, bench news. I'll put a hashtag out. It was morning, we're missing a parcel. It was apparently delivered last night at 21.
Who puts that in a WhatsApp group?
If anyone received it, could you let us know? Huh? It essentially is, but only for my little bit where they're all idiots.
Can I have an invite to that?
The amount of times I've been really accidentally rude and I've had to pretend that I'm an idiot.
I promise I'll only post once a month if I get an invite. But it'll be a good post once a month.
Yeah, that's how it's going. I don't know where that package is. It's not at my house. If it is, it's in that pile.
How do you know it's not at your house? You're not there.
Well, it wasn't there this morning. But,
do I need to put my head?
Yeah, it might be in that lot because I don't know. They might have ordered some pop vinyls. I should ask really.
Have you been to any other school as well?
Since when?
You went to one this morning.
Didn't I go to one Saturday?
You go to two.
Yeah, I went on Saturday. And my son looked at, they were selling plants on the stall, and my son happened to look at one, and we somehow ended up leaving with 3. And I'm pretty sure he only sent like 50 people. This woman was so excited that he had shown an interest, she just bombarded us with plants. So I've got plants all over my kitchen now.
Nice.
One of them's a mixture. 2 of them are tomatoes. I don't know what the third one is. It could come alive and take over. It's touch and go.
You know when I mentioned the Q&A would stop when it starts to peter out a little bit? If we're talking about what he got at a school fete. Let's have another question.
If you had an all-expensive paid like flight hotel to San Diego Comic Con, what would you do there and why?
All expenses paid?
All expenses paid.
What do we class as expenses here?
Say someone teleports you to the event tomorrow, what would you do and why?
Sounds like she's offering, Kev.
Yeah, I'd ask for the instructions to the teleportation machine for a start. I want to know how. I think I would stop going. I mean that's. Did I talk about this on stream or something the other day?
Yeah, you said if you went there, it would kill.
Yeah, the reason I don't go to smaller Comic Cons is because I go to London Comic Con. If I went to San Diego or New York, I'd probably stop going to London because it just wouldn't be the same. It would ruin it for me.
I saw a tweet from the man in Detroit, the grumpy cop.
Yep.
He was at San Diego Comic Con with a picture of Mr. Crab, or his name is Mr. Krabby from SpongeBob. I'd do that probably because it looked fun.
You'd do Mr. Krabby from SpongeBob.
Plus, I'd watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel because apparently they were having some mad.
I'd just buy all the exclusive pop vinyls. What would you do?
Follow you around.
Like you do at every Comic Con ever. You'll follow us around for 10 minutes, then say, I'm going back to the hotel to play on the PlayStation.
Yep.
Pab will look after you today.
No.
Pab, what would you do?
I'd make it more of an effort to go to the panel. They're much bigger over there, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. I hear London Comic Con had a great panel at this convention just gone.
We went to one together where you were somewhere, I don't even know. And we went to so many panels and shows, and we were like, wow, there's so much more here.
Yeah, but then we looked awkward. We were in the front row, and we went, this isn't very good, and just go and walk.
And broke their hearts. I've done that a few times. But I might go with a few of them.
Hello, Jack.
Just to link on with Louise's question, when do you think you'll go to the San Diego?
Yeah, when do you think? Yeah, that's good.
When do you reckon it'll be
how many
the right time?
tickets did we sell to? Not yet.
How many years?
We went from that to sponsor the next event.
I would go right now if the opportunity was there. So,
Realistically, when do you think you'll be able to go to
when is it? Is it on now?
It's now.
Just finished.
So it's off the back of VidCon.
There's an MCU panel like tonight.
See, it could be realistic in the next year or two if we can get an invite to VidCon and just stay, which I think is the sense. Oh, you'd come, wouldn't you? She said she wouldn't. The reason I didn't go to VidCon this year is because I'm not allowed to go to America without her because she won't be there when I get back, and I've been told that because she's a monster.
If you reach that point and we can't come, then I'm going to destroy you. I've got so much evidence backed up ready to bring you down the second you get too big for my liking.
So
that is too big for my liking.
I mean, I have all of the original best thing from.
No, you don't. Most of those don't exist. Most of them don't exist.
what are you bringing him down from? He got kicked out of his WhatsApp group.
What I said is, in the next 3 years, all 4 of you will go to San Diego Comic Con. If you don't, we're all unsubscribing.
In the next, how many years was that? 4? 3?
3 years. In the next 3 years, we'll go to San Diego.
I think we could get there within 3 years.
All 4 of you. All 4 of you.
Do we have to fly together?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean,
In the same
as long as you're
class.
all there in the same
We have to be in the same class on the plane.
you all have to take a picture of this in front.
Okay.
What if he's not there?
That's not
We have to find him, but at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. We'll do our best. We'll try and get there within 3 years. Although, if we're there in 3 years' time, there won't be an MGPX that year. We'll have to do it in San Diego. San Diego MGPX. You all have to come. I think if we're making our side of the deal, yeah, you have to come with us. Right, we got any more questions? Simon?
Can you please move that Q&A together?
From the very start, nicknames. Why Lujo? Why Sheepdog? Nicknames.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm allowed. If I've ever. Yeah, I've said it on the podcast. But,
You'd never tell a story ever again.
yeah.
There's only a few amount across the
I'm only allowed to ask one of these guys. They'll tell you why I'm called Delujo. Sheepdog was called Sheepdog by a priest.
Yeah, Yeah, I thought that was already out there. I'm pretty sure you did a video about where I was called Sheepdog.
Yeah.
Priest just kept calling me it. And,
I don't know if he kept calling you. I think he called you once, and I just happened to overhear.
No, but like it was my sister's wedding, and I was an usher. And
I still don't know why I was
he just
there.
kept saying, I don't know why he was there. But he was
She invited me. I had nothing better on. Made a weekend of it. Sat in a hotel room playing poker the night before. There was basically the wedding party and me in this hotel the night before. There was no reason for me to be there.
And yeah, the vicar just kept saying, Sheepdog, go and get the people, Sheepdog, do this. And then
because he was herding everybody.
And then he was like, someone said it might become a nickname. I was like, it won't. And then Kevin's like, well. Even my parents were calling me it for a while.
Well, it's because it's your name.
But you call me Steve when you want to be formal now, which is quite funny. Because that's not me either.
Oh, well, it obviously is. You're still Steve in my phone. I've never changed you to Sheepdog in my phone. When I try,
it's a bit like Smoothman. No one cares about his real name. It's Sheepdog.
He doesn't have a real name. That was a student who told me he was called Smoothman, by the way. That's where I got that from. That's what he was called at university, and one of my students told me that.
Were you smooth at university, Smoothman? When did it end? When did that end?
Well, Pab, why are you called Pab?
There was plums and berries of my name.
Which is pork and beans.
Yeah.
And Anna, why are you called Anna?
So that's just shortened of my name.
That is an abbreviation of Annika.
Any more for any more?
If Sheepdog is called...
Can you raise your hand, please, Matt? I don't know how much responses with.
If Sheepdog is called Sheepdog because somebody wants to call him Sheepdog, do we change the name of the Pope?
Yeah.
Are you going to
I know what he meant, and we're not talking about it.
I have one. It's a bit related, but are you going to go and see Lion King given its bad reviews and the very few?
Has it had bad reviews?
Yeah.
How can you get Lion King wrong?
It's good, but it's like they've taken
The original is like this far underneath Moana that it's basically touching Moana.
I do struggle a little bit with the whole idea of it being a live-action Lion King.
Does it have Timon and Pumbaa in it?
Yeah.
Do they do the like same? Are all their lines the same?
Do the lions really talk, or is it?
Yeah.
Telepathic.
Next week's podcast needs to be, you see Lion King, you should play Toy Story 4.
Oh, Toy Story.
Well, let's all go see Lion King after this. The cinema's just down the road. Let's all go to Lion King.
If it's as good as Toy Story 4, it's the best film of the year.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 was excellent.
Best film of the year.
You've not seen it?
When are you going to talk about Spider-Man?
Ain't seen it yet. What?
Right, hold on. Sheepdog. Sorry, Matt, am I interrupting? Hold on, let's all just... Sorry, Matt, would you like to repeat what you were just saying?
I just said, Toy Story ended during Toy Story 3 when all the toys were in the furnace. That would be the best franchise in Pixar.
No, to be fair to Matt, if they'd have killed him then, like I was emotional thinking that was how they were going to do it, and then when they didn't, I was like, I want to come out.
It's run its course and it's now over the crest and it's downhill now.
This time they killed Toy Story 5.
That would be perfect.
So, for those of you listening at home, I do apologise for the fact the only people speaking are the entire audience, but I think this is probably a good time for us to call an end to the Q&A, as it's just become you lot having a chat while we sit here in silence.
We're talking about Lion King.
Are we ready to do the raffle, or have you got any more questions? Sorry, let me clarify, are there any more questions for us?
No.
Oh, Bouncy, hello.
Why was there no racing or fighting games on the list, surely?
Why was what?
Because racing games and fighting games are all the same, Bouncy.
I did have Forza Horizon 4 was an option for me, but I didn't include it.
It's God of War, not fighting it.
Not anymore.
Fighting games are rubbish.
Racing games involve holding down one button, and fighting games involve hitting a controller.
Sorry, Bouncy can't listen to the answer because he's having a conversation with Jack.
What happens?
There's never been a decent fighting game, they're all the same.
They are all the same.
And all racing games are the same.
I mean, he does make a good point. Fighting games are rubbish. I already played Street Fighter 2. I don't need to play it again reskinned.
To be fair, I almost put Injustice on there until it turned out it came out at the start of 2013.
You could have had Injustice 2.
That wasn't as good. Was it? Do you think? The comic though was better from one. Justice One's comic. That's like saying that the sausage is better than a bus.
Right. Are we ready for the raffle? Because this is just derailed completely. Was that one more question? We can't hear it though, because this has happened.
Bouncy,
Someone hit Bouncy. You're being a very rude audience member. I'm going to turn up at your cinema and talk through every movie.
On camera, you play people that do something.
Many times. I've got a vine of you snorting mustard. Yes.
I don't know a lot about that, but isn't Football Manager and FIFA the same thing?
Yeah. And on that note.
Isn't it just all football though? It's basically...
Well, one's playing football, one's watching football.
Have you got 2 hours? You can't play FIFA and get full name. Yeah.
You can't play FIFA because you have no skill.
I beat you on FIFA on the internet.
Because you rage quit the first game. There's video energy. You rage quit your game and then beating me.
Right, come on, let's do the raffle because this is descended into nonsense. Those of you, is it one that these aren't going to shout over? Because this has got to go out to people's podcast people. Go on.
If you hadn't come down with me and you could invite 5 characters from the MCU, who would it be and why?
From the MCU.
Yeah, any 5 characters.
Are we all there or are we doing it individually? She's going to need a big... Well, I'm just thinking she's going to need Star-Lord if she's there with me, but if not, I'm keeping him away.
See, I'd have him in mind just for the wisecracking.
Thor.
Interesting. Well, I wonder how you're picking yours, Anna.
Hulk to me.
And yes, that's fun.
Thor, obviously. Not Fat Thor because he'll eat everything.
Fat Thor.
Do you think they're going to have like a losing weight thing before Thor? Like he's in
I really hope not.
In Guardians 3, won't he? He'll lose weight in that.
I'll take Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
Groot might disapprove of you eating any vegetables because they're basically his
I don't think that would come up. And who else would I have?
Spider-Man?
No. I'd get arrested if I invited Spider-Man for dinner.
Why?
Samuel Jackson?
Do you want to come round my house, little boy? I'm not inviting Spider-Man for dinner.
23.
The actor might be. Spider-Man's still at school. I can't have school children coming around my house for dinner.
Because if I'm dining with Nick Fury, then I'm probably pretty hot. You know what I mean? I've achieved good things if I'm dining with him. He's got secrets.
We'll have them all round. I'm not bothered. They can all come over. Apart from the baddies. I don't want any baddies.
You wouldn't have round.
Is there anyone we wouldn't have round?
I could list 5.
What, that you wouldn't want to have for dinner?
Yeah.
If they turned up now and said, look, we're the only 5 that are available.
The actors, yes, not the characters.
I don't understand. God.
But it's the actors that have Robert Downey Jr. over and taken Haley.
But linking into that one, best and worst Marvel film.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The best one is Infinity War.
Best of worst.
Infinity War is the best one.
What, Endgame?
No, Infinity War, the one before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And the worst one was Thor Dark World.
None of the Thor films are the worst ones. Hulk is the worst one.
You're an idiot.
My mate keeps ringing me for some reason whenever I'm WhatsApp. Something's obviously gone down.
Agreed. Oh, is anyone else answering? Or are we doing this raffle now? I haven't said goodbye on the podcast yet. If you're listening to this at home and you're still listening now, tweet at Sheepdog and let him know. I'm not bothered.
Yeah, I genuinely. When I get those tweets, I pass them over to the guys. So do tweet me.
The worst thing is I'll be here and I'll still listen.
Best Hulk. You're probably right, Infinity War.
Definitely right.
And the worst one.
Thor Dark World, obviously.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
Oh, if Hulk's it, if Hulk is in it, then yeah.
It's the first film on the MCU.
There's a reason they pretend they started with Iron Man. They started with Hulk.
Anna.
The end of Hulk.
You're not a big Marvel
Talks to him.
No.
Nick Fury's there at the end of Hulk.
I preferred Endgame.
Nick Fury's in Blade.
Is he not?
Is it the end of Hulk though?
Yeah, that's why Hulk can't be the worst movie, because without the post-credit scene of Hulk,
Yeah, but that's the point. That it's so bad. They're pretending they started with Iron Man 1, when actually they started with Hulk. But it's so bad. They're like, no, we started this whole universe off with Iron Man, and that is what they're saying. If they did a whole universe DVD set, they're leaving Hulk out.
Well, Iron Man did come out before Hulk,
didn't
it?
It's also because there were two different studios. So they worked.
I don't care. Nick Fury was
More importantly, I want to hear Anna's worst
one.
It was about 5 you've slept through.
Yeah.
Kev must have taken you to every single
No, because it started before we met.
Did.
So I think the first one we saw together probably would have been the Avengers, probably.
I remember seeing Iron Man 2 with you.
Iron Man 2? No, you didn't. Iron Man 3 you saw with me.
The one I didn't like was with Captain America and Bucky, and they were having a fight when he didn't know who he was. Which one was that?
Winter Soldier.
Yep, didn't like that. Endgame, for me.
checking my mate's not dying. He's rang me like
Right, we are going to wrap the podcast element of this up and get onto the raffle because this has descended into lunacy. So, usual podcast outro, Twitter, say goodbye. Everyone else here say goodbye as well. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next week with the podcast.